Yeah, athlete. Can't hide that.
All right, Coach, whenever you're ready, sir.
All right, I think we just got done talking to the team a little bit, referenced some notes all the way back to training camp when we had Squad Sunday and we took the team to Greenhouse Church. You know, that day the guy talked about success, talked specifically about having a vision, right? Developing a plan, having the habits to follow through, believing, right? And then impact as a result of your work, the impact that you can have on others. There's no question that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish with each individual player, with our team. I think this group has worked extremely hard, and we're starting to believe a little bit. So, good day of work. You know, I think I'm very impressed with the urgency, the detail, the attitude of the players. I think the staff done a really good job. So we're excited about going to Nashville and try to continue this trend here. So good day's work, and right in the middle of this prep, need to continue to work all the way up until we kick it off. What questions we got?
Guys, we'll stop now. Billy, would you talk about the week of practice? You know, you're coming off of 2 wins in a row, and now you're going for a 3rd win, and you got some momentum going. Would you talk about how that's carried over?
Yeah, I think probably the most gratifying thing is that, you know, these kids have been working extremely hard, working hard at their routine specifically, you know, their process, their weekly approach, and to see them start to get some rewards, right, you know, I think of the work. And, you know, as a coach, you've been pushing them to their limits, you know, for a long time, and to get to a point where it starts to, you know, there's fruit from their labor, if that makes sense, and to see the gratification that they get, the energy that brings, a lot of young players that are improving and playing with confidence. I think as a coach, that's probably the best thing about the profession, is seeing that process, and that's kind of, I think, where we're at, you know, defensively in particular. I thought today we were exceptional at practice on defense, and I think part of that is that we're starting to believe a little bit, and it's that energy is contagious, right, across the board. I think those guys are continue to get better.
Vandy's quarterback situation, they're not going to announce a quarterback until game time. I mean,
Right.
how do you account for that this week in practice?
Well, they've played both players throughout the year, you know, so it's a little bit of a catch-22 either way. So, you know, I mean, I totally understand that, and certainly we're anticipating both players playing. You know, we'll plan accordingly and then adjust as the game sees fit. So, but it has been a situation where the guy that started last year, he's played in somewhat of a role throughout the entire season.
Has there been, you know, you're talking about what's gratifying. Is there a moment that you can look back on that you thought to yourself, they're really starting to get it?
During that Carolina game, I would say, you know, I think during the week of the Carolina game, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday practice, starting to see it even this week a little bit, you know. I think it's, you know, you're always watching, you're observing every individual player, right? I mean, and it's the attitude, it's the mindset, it's the way they speak to each other, the way they embrace each other. It's the ability to stay focused on the task, to remain positive, to take hard coaching and go back to work. I mean, I think each individual player on our team's got their own story, you know, to some degree, but, you know, you see a lot of good out there, you know, and I think it's more about the intangible part than it is maybe the result on Saturday.
You've had 6 players or so, I think, kind of in the portal or say that they're going to in the next couple of weeks. Is this what you envisioned as someone that wanted structure with the portal to see players start to announce that they're going early?
Yeah, I think it's a shame sometimes when they do it maybe before the season's out. You know, I don't necessarily think that's a positive. But it's the rules that we've been given, right? And, you can sit around and worry about that, or you can just focus on the things that you can control, and that's what we're doing. It's to be expected, right? I mean, I think we all understand it's happening everywhere, right? So to some degree, it is what it is. You just stay focused on what's next, and that's all you can do. So, if it's up to me, I don't necessarily think I would allow them to do it before the season's over. I think there's a respect for the game to some degree relative to, hey, I'm going to finish what I started. We've got some players that are doing that, So, but, we have no control over that, so we're not going to sit around and worry about it. When they give us a new set of rules, we're going to play by the rules, right?
There was actually a report that DeJuan Black was dismissed. Is that accurate or no? Was that not his decision?
Yeah, the one is focusing on academics right now. It's really important that he has additional time for academics, but yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
Billy, what's the challenges to Zach's question, dealing with that as a head coach, where because of this dynamic, you might have some guys that have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, when you get towards the end of the season?
Yeah, I'm not sit around and worry about that. The majority of those guys don't play. They have a role during the week. They contribute to our team. If I see a guy that I feel like is not doing his best for the team, we address that. But we don't have that problem out there right now. I mean, we got a great group that, some don't even play in the game, right? They just show up out there every day and do their part to help the team, to help their teammates. Some play a minimal role on game day. Some have a huge role, right? But as long as we see the players doing what they're asked to do, doing their part to help the team, it is what it is. I don't necessarily, we got players that have told me that they are going to leave, right? But they're not going to leave the team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've got a certain level of commitment to that group and to what we started all the way back in the very beginning, right? So, I think as long as your culture's healthy, it's not a problem, right? If you've got great relationships, if you've got open, honest communication, one thing I do respect is players that want to play, that want to compete, right? I mean, I played FCS ball, but I'm different because I got a chance to play, right? I mean, that 4th and 5th year of my career when I actually got to go run out there and contribute to the team made me different. I'm a completely different person as a result of that experience. So you're going to have some players along the way that maybe their role's not what they want to be. Maybe they see the kind of the writing on the wall and they make a decision to move forward and go somewhere else. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's healthy, and there's attrition is healthy to some degree, right? And it is what it is.
And then going back to DeJuan's situation, sometimes when guys get removed from the team and cut from the roster, fans might have an expectation of how a head coach handles that. Can you just discuss how difficult it is dealing with these situations where you're trying to work with a guy to make sure all the things are right and give them chances?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think not necessarily to comment on that situation specifically, but just overall, it's one of the hardest things that you do as a head coach is to have to make decisions like that, So, because, you get in the boat with them right in the beginning, and you work tirelessly and you create structure for them and routine, and you have a plan and you have goals and all those things I just talked about, right? You have a vision for what you see for their future, and they have that as well. You develop a plan for them, and you try to implement and create structure and routine so that they can develop good habits. And you're hopeful that they experience success and they, get an opportunity to contribute to the team and develop some belief in themselves, and ultimately the game impacts them in a positive way. So we play a lot of players every week, you know, and we do that specifically for a reason, right? I want to have as many players that are ready to play that can contribute to the team. We're going to give them an opportunity to play.
Time for a few more guys.
Des is speaking here in a little bit. We're excited, but what do you hope to see from him these last few games and then during the off season? It's obviously going to be a monster off season for him.
Yeah, no, I think just really proud of Dez. You know, I mean, I think he probably changed gears during training camp, I would say. You know, probably wasn't the best off season in the world, you know, truth be known. But during training camp, he changed gears, right? And I think he has worked hard to earn the spot that he has. And I think he's really garnered some respect from a lot of people just because he's developed some habits that have led to improvement, right? And he has more discipline in his life than he's probably ever had, you know, and he's experienced some success, right? So I think that the guy has way more room to grow, right? I mean, so I think players make the most improvement between the first significant year of playing time and the next year, right? So I think for him, I'm hopeful that he'll continue to create momentum for himself, create value for himself, to impact our team, and then get ready to, you know, change gears and attack this offseason the same way he's been working since probably training camp, August or so.
I don't know that we asked you after you said this, and I kind of meant to. He was in here talking about being able to squat 720 and bench 520.
Yeah.
And those kind of measurables.
Right.
You talked about Derrick Henry being freakish. I mean, what do you see with him in terms of a guy that size with that kind of strength?
Yeah, no, the guy's he's massive. I mean, you know, and he's 6'5.5". He weighs 435 pounds. You know, I mean, and you know he's gonna get up here, and you're gonna see that he's just a big man, right? So, you know, our goal for him is to change the composition of that number. The guy's light on his feet, man. He can play with balance. He's learning how to play with his hands. He's a good communicator. I hear him in practice every day, improving, communicating, making other players around him better. He's a smart young man. And the big thing is just learning how to have discipline in his life. He's developing better habits, and he's just in a better place as a person. So couldn't be more proud of the guy. And I'm telling, when I say that he is going to continue, he's got a lot of room for improvement. This guy could be, he's going to be fun to watch.
All right, we'll finish in the back here with Graham and Jacob. Billy, we've talked to you about a lot of impressive freshmen and sophomores this season. The one we really haven't had a chance to talk to you too much about is Miguel Mitchell. What have you seen out of him recently and maybe even early that kind of made you think this is someone who can contribute this season?
Yeah, Miguel's an interesting story. You know, we had him on our board at Louisiana as a corner. You know, the guy's he's a good young player. You know, he's really smart. He's like a 4.4 GPA in high school. Comes from an unbelievable family. Really good high school program in Alabama. The game's important to him. You know, I do think the guy's got traits. You know, he's big, he's fast. We play him in kind of a hybrid role there. He plays in that big star category right now. He's a good special teams player. Good young player that's got a good attitude. You know, he's got a bright future in front of him. He'll get better. He's going to continue to get better as long as he has the right attitude. So he's got great traits. You know, and he's benefited from getting an opportunity to run out there, right? So Miguel's a good one for sure.
How have you seen Anthony Richardson grow this season? What are the biggest areas of improvement for him?
Yeah, I think three things in particular that we've been working hard on. One is his comfort with the role, you know, as a leader. You know, obviously he's always been kind of he's a humble guy. He's a hardworking guy. He cares about his players, cares about his teammates. I think he's learning how to prepare. He's learning the discipline that's required. He's starting to understand the importance of being the quarterback and the example. You know, all eyes are on your example, you know, your urgency, your detail. I do think that he is communicating better, not only on the field, but just when he gets an opportunity to speak, you know, speaking with clarity, speaking with confidence, really taking time to think about what the team needs to hear, where the team's at, having a pulse for the locker room, and using the platform he has to help the team improve. Secondly, I think the knowledge of defense structure, front pressure coverage, how the puzzle fits together, and how that changes each week, right? And how to be a quick study, right? And work Sunday to Saturday to learn each team and the structure that they have conceptually. And then I think protections is probably the third part, you know, just learning how our concepts work with what they do, strengths and weaknesses, what are the issues each week, you know, and then getting to a point where he really understands and he can ask great questions and create dialogue and get out in front of some of those problems. You know, I think it makes game day easier because he's got a real understanding of what's happening out there. So those are the areas that we've been working hard on, and there's no question that he's getting a little bit better each day.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, guys, thank you.